Kids grow up so fast these days. We got an article here from 1010 Wins, who is big in the tri-state area. I remember when I was a kid, 1010 Wins used to have commercials running all the time with that 1010 Wins theme. The NYPD, 13-year-old girls ran violent robbery ring in Manhattan. Oh man, it has some pretty good come-ups, huh? By Adam Warner. Advertisement for cars. Okay. Two 13-year-old girls who were arrested in Harlem this weekend are accused of running a group of 10 to 20 violent robbers that have targeted victims across Upper Manhattan, the NYPD says. You know, this is why I hate in the black community how we use the term our children. These ain't my kids. I don't know them, but I can guarantee you that these young ladies, like if they're not black, they're Spanish, they're Hispanic. I sincerely doubt they're of the Caucasian persuasion, but where are these kids' parents? You know, like where are the the four people that made the two young girls? I'm pretty sure they say if they were sisters or related, but this is so sad, man. It really is. Police tell 1010 Wins the two tweens ran their operation out of the Grant houses in Morningside Heights. The alleged ringleaders and their adolescent crew have wreaked havoc in the area, attacking victims on streets and in Morningside Park, according to police. Now, this is a direct result of the environments that have been cultivated in urban America, to whereas you got two 13-year-old young girls running a whole gang. I mean, it reminds me of RoboCop. Was that RoboCop 2 when they had the new drug out and Lil Man was running the whole thing, and they put the brain of a psychopath in the other RoboCop, and they had you know what? Okay, let's get back to the story. The girls were arrested in front of 1514 Amsterdam Avenue around 11 p.m. Saturday, the NYPD said. They remained in custody on Sunday. One man told ABC7 that the junior gangbangers pummeled his husband. Oh, okay. Bob has a traumatic brain injury as a result of an assault by what we believe was a group of young people, he said. So, he believes this, but you can't sit there and throw it out there like, oh yeah, like he did, like that's what they, like it was definitely them. I'm just saying, not to defend the indefensible, just saying. Some of the girls were back at it Saturday night, beating a 40-year-old woman with a wooden stick, according to police. Officers with the 30th Precinct are interviewing witnesses and victims to determine how many crimes they're responsible for. Yeah, good luck with that if you only got the ringleaders. Where's the rest of the crew at, you know? Investigators are looking into several incidents spanning at least two precincts, but police couldn't immediately give a specific number of incidents or offer any more details. Still waiting for these kids' parents to be brought up by it. It's unclear how many charges the two girls are facing. Police said they are seeking other suspects in a string of assaults and robberies that the investigation spans multiple precincts. So that's the end of the article, but really, like, where else, right? I mean, because I can see something like this happening in Newark or Camden or, Brooklyn or Little Rock, Arkansas or, Miami, and like just any hood, any urban municipality in the country. This can happen. And the reason these things do happen is because the urban America is a poisoned environment. The people of urban America are poisoned, and the circumstances in which they find themselves into, do what you got to do. Then these 13-year-old girls felt like they were doing what they had to do. And the saddest part is that, they have parents. Like, it's impossible to make a person without a P going into a V and blowing an L, like it is literally impossible. Trust me. I know this. And so there are two people in both of these girls' cases that created them. Yet here they are out in these streets running around because, apparently the people that made them didn't care enough about them to make sure that they didn't have to do that. And that's really where a lot of our issues as far as urban America, because I don't want to talk about the suburbs. I want to talk about like really any other portion of America, because that's not where this would happen. This happened here. I mean, trust me, they have their own problems without question. I mean, how many school shootings do we have? No, our stuff happens actually out in the streets. You know, I mean, and this article says nothing of the young lady's races at all, but it's Harlem. There's not but so many ways that we can go with this. I mean, and they're 13-year-olds. So they're definitely not going to be showing pictures or anything else like that because, you know, they're minors. But it does draw back to where the hell are their parents? I mean, a lot of society's issues and ills can be solved with decent parenting. That's it. Like, all you gotta do is give your kid a hug every once in a while. You know, make sure they got food over their head. And I mean, really, Jay? Make sure they have a roof over their head and food in their bellies and a hug every once in a while they're young. I mean, because these young ladies, they're like 13, and they're getting to that point where, you know, it'd be more, but you know, the first 10 years, it really is that simple. And yet we have so many people who can't dedicate that time to their kid, to the person that they made, because they got their own stuff to do. And if you got your own stuff to do, then you have absolutely no right creating life by any stretch of the imagination. That's what kind of blows my mind about the abortion arguments that are taking place right now. Oh, they're trying to take a woman's right to choose away. No, sweetie, they're not taking your right to choose away, because you can still choose to wear a condom. You can still choose to, you know, like there's plan B. There's what's the UEDs? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they call it UEDs, UEIs. I'm not 100% sure. But there are so many ways in which to avoid a pregnancy that, like, to say him like, oh, well, you know, she's like 8 weeks pregnant. She's like, you know what I'm saying? She's like 8 months pregnant. Oh, now she doesn't. Really? Like, you've been pregnant this long and now you're deciding you don't want to have. Come on. But we've also been sabotaging people to not particularly have the capacity in which to think that far ahead for themselves or for their child. Because I genuinely believe if a lot of these parents love their kids, they're like, a lot of these kids wouldn't even exist. And that sounds a little harsher than I mean for it to, but it's just a matter of, you know, what circumstances are you bringing the world into? Am I sitting here telling anyone or saying you should wait for perfection in order to bring life into the world? No, because you'll be waiting for forever. But I am saying is that you have to have some kind of stability in place if you want that person that's a representative of you, that's a piece of you, to have the best chance to be the best them. You have to have a solid foundation in place for them. And so many people are encouraged to just, you know, have a baby. You know, it doesn't matter what happens after the baby's born and after the baby's here, or, you know, just have sex recklessly and without abandon. And that's how we ended up here. You see what I'm saying? Where we have 13-year-old girls running violent robbery rings. So really, it's a paradox. But at the same time, it's not an impossible paradox to quell or to change, because there's more to life. You know, it's one of the reasons I personally don't have children at the moment. I don't have children because I recognize that once I become a parent, I'm no longer the main character of my story. I don't want that. Like, I mean, it's not that I don't want that. It's just I do like not having that hanging over my head, because it's a fantastic responsibility, one in which I take responsibly. And I don't believe that everyone does, because that's how you end up with lost little girls in the world, just robbing cats in the middle of Manhattan. I wonder how much they're getting off with. Because I mean, I too have spent quite a bit of time in the criminal underworld, so I'm really wondering how much they were making off these hits, whereas they had a whole crew. So with that being said, all the internet stuff. Like if you like the video, sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice, share if you think this is an important message to get out, and speak. Let me know. I mean, do you see this as something? Do you want to blame this solely on the 13-year-olds, or do you think their parents should really be held to account? I mean, what do you think happened to the parents? By all means, talk to me in the comments. I'd appreciate it. And until the next video,